Radio Caribbean International. 101, number one. Tired of the ordinary at lunchtime? Why not try something smart to chew on? The Lunchroom on RCI, Monday to Friday, 12:45 to 2 p.m. The Lunchroom, informative, enlightening, provocative, engaging. The Lunchroom on RCI, food for thought. The station that gives you, more lunch.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International for Wednesday, the 12th of November, 2025. I'm your host, Calix George Jr. You can, of course, get us at 101.1 FM radio as well as our website, rcisaintlucia.com. And we are streaming live on Facebook. You just have to search for the official page of Radio Caribbean International. Please be sure to like and share that link as well with your friends and family. And if you're not on Facebook, you can also get us on YouTube. So you got lots of options online. Now, of course, we want to encourage you to call in just a bit. And our number is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. As well as our WhatsApp number, that is 724-0008. You can tell us what's on your plate today. But before we get into your calls and comments and questions, we first, of course, are going to be taking in our Republic Corner. That's going to be up for our dish of the day in just a bit. And we're going to be speaking about the magic of sustainable wheels. But before that, just a little bit of a look in terms of history for today. In the year 764, Tibetan troops occupied Chang'an for 15 days. That was the capital of the Chinese Tang Dynasty. In the year 1880, a best-selling American novel, Ben-Hur, A Tale of the Christ by soldier Lew Wallace, was published. 1927, on this day, November the 12th, saw Leon Trotsky expelled from the Soviet Communist Party, paving the way for Joseph Stalin to consolidate complete power. 1942, on this day, November the 12th, the naval battle of Guadalcanal began between Allied and Japanese naval forces in the Solomon Islands, with U.S. forces prevailing after days of intense fighting. 1966, on this day, Buzz Aldrin took the first space selfie, a photo of himself performing extravehicular activity in space during the Gemini 12 mission. In the year 1990, the World Wide Web was first proposed by CERN computer scientists Tim Berners-Lee and Robert Cailliau. We now move on to our dish of the day.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And welcome back to our program here today. And of course, it's Wednesday, and so it is our Republic Corner. And we want to welcome you, of course, to another opportunity to connect with Republic Bank Eastern Caribbean Limited. Of course, Christmas is around the corner, and Republic Bank wants to ensure that you have a Christmas that is magical, and in particular, the magic of sustainable wheels. And so joining me this afternoon, I'm very pleased to introduce Petra Jalouy from Republic Bank Eastern Caribbean, St. Lucia. Of course, Petra, thank you so very much for joining us on the program. How are you doing? Wonderful, wonderful indeed. Now, so we're talking about wheels, sustainable wheels, and we want to know, how is Republic Bank leading the way in sustainable financing, particularly for vehicle products? Indeed. And of course, lots of people have to make that investment in a vehicle. Maybe that investment might be coming very soon before the end of the year, maybe into next year or the year after. And you may definitely be thinking about going green and going into getting yourself an electric vehicle, an EV. How does the Make Your Christmas Magical campaign support customers in getting a new or used vehicle, sustainable vehicle that is? Fantastic. Now tell us, if someone is still trying to decide between the way to go, I mean, you could perhaps go back to what do they call them, internal combustion engine vehicle, the good old fashioned gas or diesel, but definitely that won't be green and that perhaps won't be saving you in the long run. But you want to make up your mind between going towards an electric vehicle or a hybrid. How can you assist these individuals this coming holiday season? Fantastic. And of course, we do know that the entire world is trying very much more to shift towards EVs. They're seeing the benefits of that. We're getting better vehicle products out there. So it's certainly a really exciting time and a lot of options for persons looking to make an investment in a new vehicle. Have customers already started to take advantage of these magical deals to get their EVs or hybrids? Now, how can persons get more information on EVs, on hybrids, or even other kinds of sustainable lending products from Republic Bank? Thank you so very much, Petra, for sharing those wonderful insights. And of course, you've just heard from Republic Bank. They're making it easier for you to experience the magic of sustainable wheels, putting those wheels on the road. And of course, Petra, do you have any parting words for us to give us any other upcoming events, perhaps, that Republic Bank might be putting on?
Join Republic Bank at the Caribbean Silver's parking lot for a special showcase featured at the Evolution Car Show. Come out, you can ask questions, see the technology up close, and you can even get pre-approved on the spot. You just need your ID, the job letter, salary slips, and proof of address. So we're making sustainable mobility accessible and magical for you.
Wow, that is very, very exciting indeed. And you're saying it's happening this Saturday. From what time to what time? When should we be there?
Okay, so it starts from 9 to 5.
9 to 5. And this, I think, is
Yeah.
perhaps the first dedicated EV Lucian car show here in St. Lucia. It's at a very pretty good location, very accessible location at the Caribbean Cinemas parking lot. And it is being done in conjunction with Republic Bank Eastern Caribbean Limited this coming Saturday, November the 15th from 9 until 5. And you're saying that you could actually get pre-approved for a new vehicle right there if you just walk with a valid ID and some of your job information. That's really
Right.
wonderful.
So just your ID, your job letter, payslips, and proof of address.
Okay, so it's Wednesday. Hopefully people can get those things in place. If they are in fact looking for a new vehicle and they want to make that switch, they're thinking not just about the environment, but also about their pockets, because certainly
That's right.
in the long run, you're going to save with an EV when you compare your gas prices and maintenance costs. And no doubt there'll be lots of wonderful people who will be able to explain the options out there, and lots of companies, lots of the auto dealers coming out with new products. So no doubt they'll be also out there to actually share that opportunity. And who better else to help you along that journey than Republic Bank Eastern Caribbean Limited as well. So Petra, thank you once again for all the information that you have shared with us regarding this magic of sustainable wheels. Of course, all part of the Make Your Christmas Magical with Republic Bank. And again, thank you so very much, Petra.
Thanks for having me, Alex. I hope to see you on your crew on Saturday.
I intend to be there for sure. Definitely. All the best then. Thank you very much. And I'm pretty excited about this indeed. It is a wonderful opportunity that is being made available to the people of St. Lucia in terms of this upcoming EV Lucian car show. So we do hope lots of people can at least just go out to see what's available. You know, lots of people may still have some preconceptions, misconceptions perhaps as well in respect of EVs. The technology has certainly come a long way. It's getting better and better. The efficiency of the vehicles, the distance that you can travel. There's always this fear you hear, well, you know, we have so many mountains and hills. But the range of these vehicles has certainly increased, and we have very little to worry about in a small island like St. Lucia, worrying about you ending up not getting to back home with your new EV. So definitely lots of opportunities here, especially with a lot of these new companies coming on and providing opportunities to purchase an EV electric vehicle right here in St. Lucia. So hope we can all, of course, take up that opportunity to check them out this coming Saturday. That is our dish of the day. And of course, when we come back, we hope that we can continue the program to get into some other things.
This has been The Daily Dish.
And welcome back to the program here at Radio Caribbean International. And of course, we do hope that you're having a very, very blessed and enjoyable midweek. Of course, we are into the throes of a general election right here in St. Lucia. The expectation of that general election has been around for some time. And we, of course, know that in the case of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they, of course, are also going to the polls. Their allotted 5 years is pretty much up, and we are seeing the Unity Labour Party under Ralph Gonsalves heading up against Dr. Godwin Friday of the NDP. And so, of course, a very interesting contest shaping up over there. In the case of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, only 15 seats. It's a unicameral legislature, and currently I think it is split with just a 1-seat margin for the ULP. So it has been pretty tight, and it'll be interesting to see how things continue to pan out come November the 27th over in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Lots, of course, happening over there. They've also seen the opening for the first time of a new sandals property. formerly Buckerment Bay, over in St. Kitts, in St. Vincent, in the near the Layu area there, and of course looking at a new project as well, another sandals branded chain, but in fact beaches branded chain, I should say, but still owned by the Sandals Resorts International. Another hotel being proposed for the mainland of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. For quite some time, the Grenadines has really taken the great part of the interest in respect of the tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with islands like Mustique, like Canawan, for example, being for the millionaires and billionaire cruise, and as well to some degree, lots of yachting interests in Beckway and other islands in the chain. But certainly since the construction of a new international airport, the Argyle International Airport, we have seen a tremendous amount of more interest, flights coming in, and certainly has been transformational for activity on the mainland of St. Vincent. And so in addition to that, quite recently completed a new cargo port for the island at Kingstown, with an expansion and reclamation project there to create a new port that is modern and more in keeping with the needs of containerized cargo. So a major development there for the Ralph Gonzalez administration. And in addition to that, also ongoing work on a new general hospital, utilizing part of the former E.T. Joshua Airport. Of course, for those of you who are familiar with St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Vincent, the traditional airport, E.T. Joshua, or formerly Arnessville, just outside the city center, similar to how we have VG. And that airport, very constrained, very short runway. And of course, with the new airport opened up at a little further down the road, they've taken up the opportunity of redeveloping the old aerodrome at Arnessville. And so part of that is actually for the construction of a new national hospital, a new general hospital to, I guess, effectively replace the Milton Cato Hospital, which is found in the west side of Kingstown. And so, another very major development in that regard. So, of course, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will have a decision to make, because the current government has been around consecutively for quite some time. Mr. Gonzalez, I believe, has been the prime minister since about 2000, and he's been into politics since, I think, around 1998 or thereabouts. He's won 6 times and looking for another term at the age of 76 to continue to be the prime minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And of course, on the other end, the hope there that people are suggesting that it's time for a change, to see what happens there. Of course, in the case of St. Lucia, we, for the past, we could easily say at least 4 electoral cycles, going back to 2006, have been seeing a change in administration, a flip-flop, a swinging of the pendulum from Labour to the United Workers' Party in 2006, where we saw a return of Sir John Compton. That was very short-lived. He passing in office, I think, at the age of 81. And then, of course, we saw Mr. Stevenson King holding the reins as Prime Minister up until the year 2011. Of course, during that period of time, we also saw the destruction of St. Jude Hospital in 2009. And then later on, we saw the impact of Hurricane Tomas in 2010, October 2010. We then saw a change of government in November of 2011. It went back to the Kenny Anthony led St. Lucia Labour Party with an 11-6 margin, the very same margin that the United Workers' Party won with in 2006. And we then went on to see in 20, well, at that point, and then during that period of time, from 2012, we still had to see the introduction of VAT, which in fact had been something which it appeared many administrations were running away from, but was an inevitability because the country was facing a significant financial cliff or fiscal deficit running as high as 10% per year, was effectively shooting up the island's debt to GDP, increases in the debt. The country simply was not growing fast enough, and you had a tremendous challenge in terms of being able to keep the government running. And so, of course, during that period of time, we saw the introduction of VAT. And we've heard it before that quite often, once any government has to handle the challenges of introducing a new taxation or new tax, major tax, whether in fact it makes a significant difference in the amounts collected or not in terms of what people pay out, they tend to want to punish that government. And so we did see, in fact, an Alan Shastny administration coming in by 2016. And although, of course, the former administration, the King administration, the Compton administration, they were all very much indicating that VAT was an inevitability, although they did not implement it during their own period of time. We then saw, of course, an Alan Shastny coming into power, making his five to stay alive promises. The most critical of those promises, the removal or reduction and removal of the quote-unquote dreaded value-added tax. Of course, that has not come to pass and perhaps never ever will. And so you're now, in 2016, we saw another change of government. And then in 2021, we saw the St. Lucia Labour Party coming into power, this time with a much more significant majority in terms of the number of seats being held in the parliament, effectively forming a government with 13 seats directly held by the St. Lucia Labour Party, plus 2 held by independents aligned to the St. Lucia Labour Party, inclusive of course, those 2 independents being formerly ministers and a prime minister within the United Workers' Party. And so 2021 has been a shift in the sense that it was a break from the 11-6, 11-6, 11-6 margins of 2006, 2011, and 2016. But then, of course, the question is whether we would then see in the 2025 general election a swinging of the pendulum again, or whether, in fact, there is satisfaction amongst the populace sufficient to say that the Philip Pierre administration or the Labour Party will get a second term. Because as of now, we've been going back and forth between the 2 political parties for 20 years, since 2006. And so it would be very interesting to see the outcome, of course, of the 2025 general election within the context of a very difficult challenge for any government to really be able to deliver all that it wants to be able to deliver within a 5-year period. And merely because of the nature of how our finances are arranged, especially as a small island developing state, very much dependent on external financing that is effectively held by other places, other institutions. We've got to wait, and quite often wait along their timelines to, in fact, be able to receive the financing that we would like to be able to, in fact, utilize for a number of these initiatives and programs and projects that individuals would like to see. And that, of course, also requires a long-term agenda. And a 5-year period simply is perhaps not enough to really set a proper shift and change in terms of the agenda of any one country. And so, of course, that will be the message coming out from the St. Lucia Labour Party, that one good term deserves another, and that there is work still to be done, and that they would, of course, be asking for the opportunity to ensure that that work is, in fact, complete. We are, in fact, due for our weather report, and we're going to take it in at this time. Of course, that's coming through the kind services of the St. Lucia Met Department.
Last year, boy, problems to get shipment of tiles in time for Christmas. This year, Island Style has enough tiles in stock to cover the whole of St. Lucia. And with our Christmas sale starting now, every tile is on sale. Island Style has massive stock, the widest variety, and the very best sale prices on quality tiles and natural stone in St. Lucia. Great deals on beautiful bathroom faucets, vanities and fixtures, tiling tools and accessories. Don't fall for no gimmicks anywhere else. Island Style's annual Christmas sale is unbeatable. Tiles for miles. Deals as far as the eye can see. Start your car, ride your bike, hop on a bus, and hurry down to Island Style Town and Back now. Castries, Wordleby, and Viewfo. Check Facebook for more details.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
So, of course, the 1.1 is now time for your weather report as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Tellenbach. The forecast for St. Lucia Valley for the next 24 hours, the winds will be blowing from the east near 20 miles per hour or 51 kilometers per hour. The weather generally fair. And there is a small craft an advisory near which raises small craft operators in sea beavers are advised to exercise caution due to locally rough seas. The forecast for the lesser entity is fair to occasionally cloudy skies with a few showers. And tropical weather outlook. Moderate to brisk easterly winds will continue across the region during the next 24 hours. Patches of low-level clouds moving along the wind flow will cause a few showers over the lesser entities during the forecast period. Tropical cyclone formation is now expected over the tropical Atlantic during the next 7 days. And this has been your weather forecast as of 12 noon today, presented by Island Style Tellenbach.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Last year, boy, problems to get shipment of tiles in time for Christmas. This year, Island Style has enough tiles in stock to cover the whole of St. Lucia. And with our Christmas sale starting now, every tile is on sale. Island Style has massive stock, the widest variety, and the very best sale prices on quality tiles and natural stone in St. Lucia. Great deals on beautiful bathroom faucets, vanities and fixtures, tiling tools and accessories. Don't fall for no gimmicks anywhere else. Island Style's annual Christmas sale is unbeatable. Tiles for miles. Deals as far as the eye can see. Start your car, ride your bike, hop on a bus, and hurry down to Island Style Town and Back now. Castries, Wordleby, and Viewfo. Check Facebook for more details.
And welcome back to the lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. Now, of course, if you want to call in to tell us what's on your plate today, the number to do so is 452-3046. Again, 452-3046. And you can also reach us at our WhatsApp number. That is 724-0008. Again, 724-0008. Let's go to the phone lines at this time to take in a call. Good afternoon. Welcome to the lunch.
Good afternoon, Mr. Judge.
How are you doing, caller?
Not too bad, Mr. Judge.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but the ex-Prime Minister say he will So what change he going to do?
He said, sorry, the ex-prime minister said he was
Yeah,
going
he's
to do
going
what?
to change. I would like to watch the change because he would have give us the world. Yeah, our pavement would have gold. And he come in and he didn't build not even one hotel, not one iota. What he built, what he does in Lucia, he our patrimony to foreigners.
Well, he promised lots of hotels, that's for sure.
He did promise a lot of hotels, but he didn't deliver nothing. And now he's going to change. Now, I don't have much to say today, but I'm watching. That little song I gave you the other day, the song go like that.
Okay, let's hear it.
It goes like that. In English, okay, I'll sing it first. Est-ce que changer la foi, chasse n'est pas tout ching, chasse n'est tout ching ching, chasse n'est pas ou pitonge, kay mette quoi bo balance là, nous kay mette quoi bo Philippe c'est toi là, Philippe GPS nom pour nous, Philippe GPS c'est nom pour nous toutes, kay mette quoi bo Philippe GPS ou Philippe GPS. Remember the last time Chasney promised us cheating. Prison. We're going to put the by Philip J. Let's do the work.
Caller, unfortunately, you've been breaking up, so I'm not sure that we heard the entire song. But I suspect what we'll have to do, we have to call you to do a recording, get a actually hear, get a proper recording of that song. It sounds pretty nice.
Yeah, I will, because that's.
Hello. Okay, it looks like we may have actually lost that caller again. But one thing is for sure, there's lots of music out there, lots of interest. People calling, well, not just calling in, but you can hear the music in the city, individuals driving around and blasting music all day long, and it is certainly a very interesting time when it comes to this period. It's almost like a carnival of sorts. Individuals are coming out with lots and lots of interesting music. The memes, of course, also very busy. The meme makers. It certainly is going to be a very interesting time in terms of how people express their political viewpoints. Of course, there will be many who will choose not to declare their hand and will be, of course, very, very quiet. And of course, the silent voter can certainly be a very impactful individual. I would say in the main, most people don't necessarily go out to political meetings, or they may not necessarily go out on a motorcade. They may not be minded to engage in any kind of open political dialogue, but they may certainly still be quietly listening and pondering and weighing the pros and cons. The independent voter. Not to say that only independent voters are quiet. Independent voters can, in fact, be very vocal, but there may be as well others who are very much hardened on one side or the other that don't necessarily say very much either. And so it certainly is as part of the challenge, of course, of this period for various political parties to be able to feel their way through the extent of support that exists out there. Now, of course, we heard on the November the 10th, right, which is just 2 evenings ago, from the opposition leader, and making certain promises, some of which had already been announced earlier on through his SOS, I think it is called, tagline. And there is certainly a promise of completing St. Jude, which is an interesting promise within the highlight that I think, are at a point where the hospital that is, we've been working, Mr. CIE, Reno Kajada, has been working on for the past 2 years or so, is effectively complete. Now, I don't know what precisely Mr. Shastey means in terms about completing St. Jude. Does that mean that we are speaking about completing what has just been completed? Does he mean, I'm not too sure what he means in that, or is he speaking about additional monies to build out the Southern Wing, which was, of course, a project he initiated during his time in office, which started somewhere about February of 2019, and for which about $120 million was spent, and for which the only plan that was in play at the time when he left office was to spend an additional $70 million to merely finish the ground floor, not with equipment or anything of that nature, but just to finish the physical works for occupation of the ground floor. So I'm not sure if that's what he's referring to in terms of completion of St. Jude, but he is suggesting that the government will do just that. He's also promising other things like the introduction of a national health insurance. We've heard about that. He's also promising free tertiary education at South Lewis Community College. Of course, we also know that while he was in office, he did speak to South Lewis Community College and was effectively saying that the institution should be very grateful for government, in fact, providing it. At the time, I think they were providing it in the region of about $17 to $18 million for its operations, and perhaps that money could have been better distributed to simply just give each individual a $3,000 bursary and allow them to go to whatever institution that they wanted. Never mind that we are speaking about an institution that is established by Act of Parliament, a St. Lucian institution named after a St. Lucian Nobel laureate for economics, an individual who worked towards establishing education across the region through UE. And this is, of course, our very own institution. He was effectively at that time suggesting defunding that institution so as to allow people the opportunity to take their money, and if you wanted to put it towards going to some other institution, you could do just that. It seems he's had a change of heart on that matter, and of course the promise now is that the government will provide additional resources to the South Lewis Community College. Of course, that amount of 18 million has gone up since then. I think the current subvention to the South Lewis Community College stands somewhere closer to about $22 or $23 million as of this current financial year. But of course, I have to verify that exact figure. There's also, of course, a promise of a youth startup grant program. And many might be saying, but isn't that very much the same as the Youth Economy Agency? And as to what will be the difference between that Youth Economy Agency, again established by Act of Parliament, versus this current proposal, is not yet clear as to how that is all going to work out. So lots of promises, lots of new promises, but they very much sound like promises of things that are somewhat already in train. Now let's go to the phone lines and take up another call. Good afternoon. Welcome to the lunchroom. And how are you doing, caller?
Fine, thank you. Before I even start, Radio Caribbean, I don't get that on TuneIn at all again, you know.
On TuneIn?
Yes.
Oh, no, I don't think we've been on TuneIn for some time.
No, if it's TuneIn or Stream, I don't get it at all. So usually, sometimes I just have to listen to
You may have to. Oh,
small
yes.
radio.
But then we're also on YouTube as well.
Okay,
If you,
but I try YouTube and it's like a repeat of some usually a program. You know, I never really get it live because I tell my Google to take it live. It gives me something that has already been played. Yeah, I never really get it live.
Okay.
But I just want to ask. I heard T. Jakes said the young people that the $25,000 that will be given towards the house.
Sorry, who is TD Jakes? I thought you were talking about
Tommy Descott.
Ah, oh, you're calling him TD Jakes. Okay,
right. Yeah, because he spoke about the money towards the young people, you know, for housing. He said like 25,000 would be given towards housing for young people. But then he also said that the money would be coming from CIP. And I'm wondering, but isn't that the same CIP an injunction was placed on? Isn't that the CIP that they have a lot of problem with because they find? And even as the former Prime Minister said in Answer on Sunday, that the reason for calling election 11 months before the due date is due to the fact that they have not tabled the amount of passports and all of those things for CIP. So then,
well, they've been, as far as I know, they've been at least two.
What's that?
I don't remember the exact number of reports that have been tabled thus far, but I know there was a report tabled sometime this year.
Yes, the report was tabled. I think that the Minister of Tourism did stated how many, and he said all of those things, but he's saying it's because of that they're rushing the general election.
But I mean, we've just recently, was it last week, we had to see the Parliament go meet to consider two pieces of legislation. One being the establishment of that Eastern Caribbean Regulatory Authority for CIP, for all CIP agencies and countries.
Yeah.
And then as well, changing the legislation for CIP effectively to strengthen the program and to make it more similar to what we originally had when it was started back in 2015.
Yes, I heard all of that.
I mean, the race to the bottom is something that Mr. Shastney has to take some responsibility for, a significant amount, because he was the one who went down that road
to 100,000.
Exactly, and other CIP countries complained about it. I mean, we've seen.
And it's a fact that Mr. Gaston Brown did say it's a race to the bottom. It's a fact that he did say that.
I mean, to the point where we started doing CIP bonds. So could you believe that we were effectively, what that meant is that you could get a passport from St. Lucia for free because you get back your money, right?
Yes.
You're taking a bond. At the end of the day, you have the passport, you get the passport, and then you still get your money back after 5 years. I mean, I mean, that is to me, that doesn't make sense. I think we really need to ensure that the program is more attuned towards getting genuine investment coming into the country, which is the reason of death of CIP.
But you're trying to destroy something, and then you're now going to say you're going to depend on that same thing that you're trying to destroy, even to the point of bringing Mr. Martinez, and you're saying that's where the money is going to be coming from for the housing, for the young people to do housing. So how can you go about destroying something? And now you're saying if you come back into power, that is what you're going to use. When you already messed it, try your best to mess it up. So I'm just trying to understand, what are they thinking? Because when you look at the two things, they have the right, they have the right and the wrong, and the present government have the PPS, which is putting people first. You have to balance those two things, because I heard the former Prime Minister say that he is coming back, or totally new change, and he said that the FFF, which family, friends, and foreigners, has now been changed to being firm, fearless.
What's that? What is the new FFF? Sorry.
To be firm, fearless, and focused.
What's the first
that
F?
Is firm.
Fame?
Yeah. Firm. FIRM.
FAIR.
No, firm, as in being firm. FIRM.
Oh, firm. Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
firm.
he have changed family, friends, and foreigners to being firm, fearless, and focus.
Firm, fearless, and focus.
Focus.
Oh,
That's his new mantra. Now, when I listen to
okay.
that, it says to me, you saying that just after you said to the lady who said the never, never, never that when I do come back in to power, what will you say when I call you when I call you? So this is to me, this is like a threat. You are saying that because you already said you're going to be firm, fearless, and focused. Now you're going to be fearless, focused, and firm at doing what you have to do.
But he's
Because
a changed man, and but has he changed? But the question is, has he admitted any of his feelings at all? I mean, that would to me
no,
be the place to start, to admit, hey, okay, we did certain things that perhaps were not beneficial. My attitude towards certain positions. I mean, what is his attitude still towards this idea of colonialization? Had a conscience. I mean, these are very fundamental philosophical points of departure. You know, where he in his mindset seems to not have an issue with colonization, and given what we are seeing right now in in this current Caribbean space with respect to warships coming in, the largest warship in the world coming into the Caribbean Sea. What does that say about, are we merely going to become a colony? You know, is
I'm
he
hoping
going
not.
to be approaching our foreign policy in that vein, the same way he's approached it in terms of investment and you know, signing on to deals within 2 weeks or whatever, however a short amount of time of coming into power, you know, rushing into decisions? Is he taking any kind of responsibility with respect to that?
None. And when you say firm and fearless, that means you will take actions that you couldn't care less, because just like Mr. Trump is going to take action, he's fearless in taking action. He what he wants. So when you say that, and you talk about righting the wrong, which is RTW, but when you
But coming to say that you're going to be firm and fearless, that doesn't comfort me though, because I would like to believe that you should be coming to say, I'm going to be more empathetic and compassionate.
No, because when you
I'm not going to come forward and say, you know, these people are mendicants and you know, they're always coming begging, la gouvernement,
and all of those things.
You know, those are the kind of things that clearly upset a lot of people and showed a lack of empathy to the reality of a lot of people. That this idea that, you know, well, why don't they just take care of themselves by getting insurance, without understanding the reality of individuals, I mean, who are making, look at the pension situation. Unbelievable. Unbelievable that in the 21st century, people were getting for a pension $250 and $300. And I mean, so is he now saying that, well, he's actually going to be compassionate towards the individuals who really are struggling, who really are trying to make ends meet, that those are the areas where he's going to be putting the emphasis on? I'm not sure that I'm hearing that, because
and that is why I am saying, when you use this three F's, firm, fearless, and focused, and they also have righting the wrong, which is RTW. I have to ask, is it returning to what?
Returning to what?
You're going to firm, fearless, and focused. Are you going to take away most of the things? Are you saying that what, and what you calling that? What's the group you in? National Trust. Are you going to say they were wrong to give a national trust?
You know, very interestingly, Carla, as you mentioned, the National Trust, something that comes to mind with respect to the Royal Jail, which of course was, he went about, and he still went and demolished the structure, even though there was a standing there was an injunction, there was a process that the court agreed to in terms of engagement between the government and the National Trust on how to go forward with the process. And he just simply betrayed that, and he still went ahead and destroyed the building.
I guess he does what he wants.
And then I'm thinking to myself, but look, you know, here you have Trinidad and Tobago. They just released this grand plan of what's it, blueprint for revitalization. Lots of big projects. Lots of projects that Mr. Chasney would perhaps be encouraged or excited about. You know, the glitzy waterfront hotels and condominiums and high rises. It had that, yes. But you know, interestingly, within that context, the old prison, they were still talking about reusing their old prison to become an arts and cultural center.
Yeah.
Now we talk about vision. We talk about vision for our country. And Mr. Chasney wants to portray himself as this person who has vision, but he has almost no appreciation for heritage, no appreciation for, you know, what makes us unique, what makes us different, what we can go out there and sell. You know, you go to look at all the successful touristic places in the world, right? And they are all, nearly all of them, barring maybe a Las Vegas built in the desert, you know, or Disneyland built out where you have lots and lots of land. But barring those places, they all built usually on heritage, on your heritage sites, on your built heritage, your cultural heritage, and that's important. You've got to have an appreciation for the soul of a country if we're going to have an understanding of a vision for the country.
No, but his vision is to me, his vision is always fantasy, you know, 23 islands, 12 of the Caribbean.
It's a Dubai-like vision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantasy world.
Yeah. You know, you can do Dubai. You can do Dubai if you have billions of dollars of oil money just sitting down and
if you have
spend
that.
it. If you got that, sure, you could do anything in the desert. You could do whatever you want. I mean, look at the Saudis. They're talking about building a linear city, the line, and come up with all sorts of, you know, these types of things. But we're a small island developing state with few resources, right? And you've got to be able to make best use of those resources. And that's,
I'm sure not even Guyana would be thinking of a little Dubai right now if all that oil money they have in it. They're more putting the people.
Well,
the
there
people
you
first,
go.
because if I listen to the president, it's the people first that comes in. Because that's the resources of the land, and if you don't put them first, where are you?
Very good points indeed, caller. Thanks very much for that contribution.
You're welcome.
All right, take care and have a good one. And of course, we in fact are a little over time here at the lunchroom, but we do hope to be back again tomorrow, Thursday, for another program of the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. Hope you can join us for that. Take care.